It is estimated that over 100 million people unknowingly suffer from insulin resistance and prediabetes. And the truth is, you may be one of them because so many people are walking around not knowing that they have this problem. This used to be something that only the elderly suffered from, but now there's the young adults and children that are suffering from insulin resistance in massively growing numbers. Not only does this lead to weight gain, but a lot of future diseases that many people are suffering from today. So this is something that we want to work on reversing and improving the sensitivity of our insulin every single day. So stick around to the end of this video as I teach you all the natural ways to do this. But before we get started, I'm Dr. Zyrowski and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join our notification community. And I'm going to help you excel your health and your life. Now, I work with a lot of patients to help them reverse this issue of insulin resistance. And the truth is, it's very frustrating because many of them have been to the doctor. Many of them have identified that this is a problem that they suffer from, but they were given nothing but medication and sent home. They weren't given any natural ways to start reversing this issue. So I'm going to give you some today so that you can take action. Let's go ahead and start with intermittent fasting. Now, I know that if you follow this channel, this is something that I talk about quite a bit. And so you're familiar with it. And the thing is I can't stress enough how good this works for making somebody more insulin sensitive. So making sure that you get that 16-hour fast in every single day, or making sure that you do one meal a day and you're doing like a 22-hour fast on a daily basis is highly, highly beneficial. Now, whichever method you choose, whether it's 16 and 8 or one meal a day, it doesn't matter. I'm not telling you which one to do. I'm telling you that they're highly beneficial. At the end of the day, doing one of them is going to massively help improve your health and reverse insulin resistance. So intermittent fasting is great. Now, extended fasts are great too. Now, first of all, just starting off with like a 20-hour fast, 24-hour fast, that's a great way to start improving your insulin sensitivity. And as you become more insulin sensitive and you start to become a little bit healthier, going into like a 3-day fast is going to be beneficial as well. So getting into that 3-day water fast is highly, highly beneficial. Some people who are very insulin resistant, they go and they want to jump into like a 5 or 7-day water fast. It's too much. As a matter of fact, if you're somebody who has insulin resistance, you're on some sort of medication, you need to work with your doctor on this because we have to make sure that, the medication and everything isn't complicating the fast. So make sure that if you're someone who is suffering from diabetes, type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance, and it's pretty severe, that you're working with a doctor in this case. But what I'm pointing out here is that fasting is something that's almost critical to go and reverse this problem. It works so well, and it really helps drive down inflammation in the body and allow the whole insulin function and insulin reaction to start functioning properly. Next on our list here is going to be a sugar-free diet. This, of course, is very, very important. I mean, your diet is key here. When you're looking to reverse insulin resistance, diet is key. Eating a good whole food, clean diet is very important, but making that diet sugar-free is a must. I mean, this is a time where you cut out all sugars and start switching to natural alternatives. And if you're not familiar with some different natural alternatives to sugar, I'll put a link in the description below to some videos I've done surrounding some of these topics. But, switching out the sugar, the table sugar, and starting to add in monk fruit and stevia and erythritol and some of these different natural sweeteners, it's going to be a far, far better way to live your life so that you can reverse insulin resistance. So cut out that sugar. Next is getting enough sleep. This is something that's highly, highly underrated. Sleep is one of those pillars to good health. In fact, when some people aren't getting enough sleep, they'll start to have some type 2 diabetic like blood sugar starting to spike up, just because they're not getting adequate sleep at night. So we want to make sure that we're constantly working to get a good whether it's 8 hours or 7 hours, whatever is right for you, but making sure that we're getting that good deep sleep so that our whole insulin reaction system in our body can work correctly is very important. Like I said, when you have somebody who goes through a period of time, maybe they're stressed out, maybe they had a child, maybe, there's some other things going on in their life and their sleep declines, their blood sugar will be all over the place. And that alone will start to cause cravings. It'll start to make things very difficult for them. It'll make it difficult for them to follow a healthy diet. It'll make it difficult for them to have the energy to exercise. And then, of course, with this sleep issue here, the blood sugar will just go through the roof. So if you're someone who's ever monitored your blood sugar closely, you'll notice that happens. When sleep declines, blood sugar goes up. So get adequate sleep, very important. Cortisol is another big one. Now, sleep and cortisol are obviously related because when you don't get enough sleep, you have more stress. When you have more stress, you have more cortisol flowing through your body. And what that does is that causes that glycogen to break down. When that glycogen breaks down, it goes and increases your blood sugar. But of course, with that cortisol, it's just breaking down nutrients that really help make your body more insulin sensitive. And so we want to make sure that we're always working to reduce stress. You know, when we think of ancient times with our ancestors, I mean, stress was always something that was good for short periods of time. And they typically weren't under stress just every single day. When people were living in these tribes, they weren't under the stress that people are today in modern society. So we want to make sure that we're always looking to reduce stress and reduce cortisol whenever possible. I did a video on how to reduce cortisol and some different herbs you can take. I'll put a link in the description below to that. Lots of different resources down below. Lose weight. Now, losing weight is important because when you lose weight, you start to reverse insulin resistance. Now, a lot of people think of like a little bit of excess weight as not being a big deal, but every extra couple pounds of fat that you have on your body is going to cause insulin resistance to a certain extent. The hormones that are associated with extra fat on the body drive higher blood sugar and also drive insulin resistance. There was a study that was done when they took individuals and had them lose about 7% of their body fat, they decreased insulin resistance risk by 54%, which is pretty incredible. Now, spices are something that many of us forget about, okay? We think that like, you know, this spice cupboard in our kitchen isn't really that useful, but the truth is there's so many spices out there that are highly beneficial at reducing your blood sugar. You know, when we look at some of these different spices, cinnamon is obviously a major one. The other ones that you can use is like fenugreek, turmeric, ginger. These all really help bring down blood sugar in a big way. So don't ever forget and, you know, just look at these spices and think that they're not that useful. They have a huge, huge impact on our health. So when we're cooking, add some of these in. And some of these different spices you can easily throw into a beverage, okay? Having a beverage like an apple cider vinegar drink with some cinnamon in it, not only does it help it taste really good, but also it just is going to help bring down that blood sugar. So drinking apple cider vinegar with some cinnamon in it, or even drinking something like green tea has been scientifically proven to help drive down your blood sugar. So those two are gonna really help. So add in some green tea. You don't need sugar in this stuff. You don't need sweetener in this stuff. And just add in some apple cider vinegar, some green tea, and you're gonna really, really like what that does for your blood sugar. Now, supplements. Now, I think this is important. A lot of people say, well, why would you take supplements if you can just eat food that is going to help bring down your blood sugar? The fact is that the majority of people are taking medication to bring down their blood sugar and not even looking at the supplements out there that have been research proven to be nearly as effective as a lot of these medications. And so the supplements should be looked at before going some other route, okay? So I'm always the natural route first and then go the pharmaceutical route if the natural route fails, okay? But looking to supplements and utilizing supplements that are going to have things like berberine and alpha-lipoic acid and fenugreek and, you know, all these different nutrients that really help bring down blood sugar are going to be highly, highly important. I'll put links in the description below to some of these different supplements that you can utilize because, like I said, a lot of people, when they come to me, they're doing the medication route. They are not doing the supplement route. And so that kills me. I understand food's important. That's kind of the pillar. It's important to make sure that you have proper diet in check, but then from there, supplementation is highly beneficial in order to bring down that blood sugar. And then fats, okay? We have to make sure when it comes to fats that we are not utilizing a whole bunch of trans fats, okay? When you think of trans fats, think of fried foods at restaurants. Those are trans fats. Think of all the different bad fats that come in these pre-packaged foods at the grocery store that are very low quality. These trans fats are very unhealthy and have been proven to be correlated with insulin resistance. So we want to make sure that we're implementing these different strategies into our life in order to improve insulin sensitivity and reverse insulin resistance because it can be done naturally. Now let's go ahead and check out this video over here on a very powerful nutrient that helps bring down insulin. A lot of people go to the store and they just find like a random supplement and they just take it and they go, well, the natural approach didn't work for me. And it's simply because you didn't do it right. I would say like 90% of the time when the natural approach isn't working for somebody, they're just not doing it right.